What we're looking at here are some water stains from water leaking from the top of the stairway, from the steps underneath, and eventually creating a problem. Now, how do I know that this is actually a stain here? What do we know what the original stairway looked like? Well, if you look right here, you can see the white arrow is actually pointing to the stain. Someone had stained the entire stairway, top and bottom, and of course the part right here that where the stain is still hanging in there hasn't been affected. However, the areas where you can see that look like they're bleached out from and there's stain that's no longer on it would realistically be where the water is leaking the most, and of course eventually creating a problem. Now of course this could be from snow accumulation too. You could have snow on the stairway and maybe someone just clears off a path so they can walk up, but they still leave snow on the stairway. Now that wouldn't be a good idea. Try to get as much snow as you possibly can off of these stairways. And again, I understand some areas this is going to be a nightmare, but if you have a wooden stairway with something that's going to get wet on top of it, like snow, eventually it's going to melt and turn into water. You could end up with problems like this. Now, what would this create? Is this a structural problem? Well, yes. Eventually, the wood is going to rot and the stairway will need to be replaced. So the more water you can keep off of a stairway like this, the better your chances of it lasting longer. Now, I'd also like to point one more thing out about this stairway. It looks like we have mold here. You can see where it's darker. We've got darker spots, and there's a good chance that this is mold. And there are, you can even look, I'm not pointing with the arrow, but if you look to the lower left hand corner of the picture, you can actually see where the risers, a couple of the risers are a little darker, and of course there's a good chance there's mold on there. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to try and get rid of the mold, priority number one, and maybe even retreat the stairway. But again, with a stain or some type of a sealer even is going to help it last longer. But again, that's difficult. I'm not going to suggest you can stain something like this. You're going to be able to stain the underside of the stairway and have it last longer because the water's coming from the top. And if you don't stain the area where the treads and risers connect to the stringer, then realistically that's going to be just like a sponge soaking into the stair stringer. So let's just say you painted a stairway like this with a semi-gloss, high gloss, or an elastomeric paint, and you didn't paint the top of the stair stringers where the treads and risers connect, then you would have a area that wouldn't be treated, and of course it could actually ruin the stair stringers even faster because the water would be able to soak in from the top of the stair stringers, and of course that's where the risers and the treads would be nailed to the stair stringer, of course, and that creates another problem. So the main problem with a stairway like this is I think they tried to seal it, the treads and risers, but they didn't do a very good job. And of course, now they have a situation like this. And I wouldn't doubt if a stairway like this, you're talking less than 5 years before it would fall apart. But again, it's just a guess. But either way, this is not a good situation. If you see something like this, it should be a sign that you do have a problem.